this political witch hunt against President Trump. We're now joined by President Trump's personal lawyer and former New York City Mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Sir, thanks for being there.
Pleasure to be with you. How are you? How you doing, Chris?
Last summer, I'm doing great, sir. Thank you very much. And, you know, last summer, Robert Mueller's repeatedly said before Congress that this was not a witch hunt. But don't these FBI notes that we're all now seeing about the Michael Flynn case, don't they contradict that statement?
I'm not sure what he said before Congress. It was pretty garbled, wasn't it? Sounded a little like Joe Biden, but yeah, he did deny that it was a witch hunt a couple of times. It's clear that it was. I mean, the Flynn situation is only one of many in which constitutional rights were trampled, ignored. You know, this was like Joe McCarthy, if people remember him, on steroids. The right of counsel didn't matter. Attorney-client privilege didn't matter. Being fair. I mean, they basically created the Flynn crime. Up until the day they walked into General Flynn's office, there was no crime. They weren't investigating a crime. And they deliberately planned to try to create one. And Strzok's lover, Lisa Page, said, you know, to be careful, basically to make sure you trap them. So they're trying to make a case on Flynn. At the very beginning, when they first got the statement from him that he didn't remember talking about sanctions with the ambassador Kislyak, the two agents actually believed him. And one of them was Peter Strzok. So for 4 months, the FBI believed his statement. And then when Comey got fired, they decided after that, and Mueller took over, they decided Flynn was lying. So that's never been really examined. The two agents who interviewed Flynn came to the conclusion that he wasn't lying. It was a failure of recollection. The Mueller happy Democrats, you know, overwhelmed Democrats, they were all very, very active Democrats, concluded he was lying and prosecuted him at a time in which they had used up all his money, and they started threatening to prosecute his son for violating a law that's only been used maybe 4 or 5 times.
Well, let me ask you, because as a former prosecutor, put your former prosecutor hat on.
Sure.
The way the FBI treated Michael Flynn, I mean, it screams of entrapment or abuse of power, which is ironic. It's what the Democrats impeached President Trump for. Aren't we seeing examples of both of those in the conduct of the FBI?
You know, again, when you say the FBI, I'm going to put it this way. A couple of power-hungry political hacks in headquarters, not the FBI. The FBI New York office is outraged, I'm sure, at the conduct of the 4 or 5 people at the top. They're a disgrace to the FBI. And if anybody in my office had ever conducted an investigation like that, they wouldn't just have been fired. They'd have been referred for both ethical and criminal investigation. There's enough crime going on, Chris, in the world. You don't have to try to create a crime with a man who served the United States for 30 or 35 years and put his life at risk to protect us. And a man that the Obama administration, had to be mad at because he thought the Obama administration was probably the worst thing that happened in this country on foreign policy in our lifetime. Well, he was entitled to that opinion. You know, gee, I hold that opinion too.
Yeah, and you know, you bring up a great point, because the Obama administration, one of their spokespersons, who's now working over at another network, Marie Harf, came out and defended the FBI's actions. So let me just ask you, because I think Americans know this intuitively, but you have the experience to put a yes or a no on this. Is it the FBI's job to go out there and get people fired? Is it the FBI's job to get somebody to lie? Is that their job?
No, it's their job to investigate a crime. So here's all my 50 years of experience will tell me this. Here's how I know the difference between what happened and why Comey deserves to be prosecuted for this. Because he didn't send them there to investigate anything. They walked into his office. The question was, did he have a conversation with the ambassador from Russia? They had the conversation in their briefcase. They had already tape recorded it. So if you're going there to get information, you play the conversation for him. And you ask them, well, tell me more about this, General. But they didn't do that. They weren't seeking information. They were seeking to trap him. So they keep the conversation, the tape recording, in the briefcase, and they ask him about details of it. And recollection gets screwed up on 1 or 2 details. They don't ever show them the recording. They run back to headquarters. They play the FBI 302, which is their report, against the tape recording. And the two agents apparently come to the conclusion that he didn't show signs of deception. And it stays that way until Comey gets fired and Mueller takes over. And Mueller's, I think the president used to call them 18 angry Democrats, take over, probably led by Andrew Weissman, who's completely out of control. And they decided they're gonna make a 1001 Martha Stewart type case on him. And they know that he's been, pretty much strapped with legal bills, so they got him in the corner. And then they start coming up with this case for violating the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act concerning his son. Now, until Manafort, that's a case that almost never was prosecuted either. That used to result in fines. It's a lack of registration case. I mean, I was used to going after, with the FBI, the Commission of the Mafia, the Pizza Connection, Sicilian Mafia, terrorists, Boski, 3 or 4 corrupt congressmen who took multi-thousands and millions in bribes, drug dealers. That's what I was used to the FBI doing, not enforcing, not enforcing whether somebody registers
I think
as an agent or not.
A lot of Americans are with you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of Americans are with you. This is not what the FBI
what they did to the FBI. They politicized it, and to me,
yes,
Comey is a disgrace, and I hired him to the United States Attorney's Office.
Grief.
I am so I'm so disappointed. He's a disgraceful human being, and what he did to this country, he's got to pay some kind of price for it. I mean, these people.
I hope so. Hey, look,
Peter Strzok
James
outlined
Comey
it best. He wanted to prevent. He could do anything to prevent Trump from being president, and then he told his girlfriend, "But I got an insurance plan to take him out." And that's the whole thing we watched for 3 years. Strzok's prevention and insurance plan, and they would overthrow a lawfully elected president. I don't know what you call that, but it's not good.
I know what you call it. You call it a coup, and I think that James Comey has a lot to answer for. Let's change. Let's change our direction to the current FBI director, Christopher Wray. Reports indicate that Mr. Wray has been hell-bent, has been working to keep exculpatory evidence for General Michael Flynn from ever seeing the light of day. He is being accused, Christopher Wray is, of allowing an innocent man, a 30-year veteran, a war hero, to go to jail to pay for a crime he didn't commit so that lesser men in FBI leadership can get away with what they're trying to get away with. What is your take on Christopher Wray? Does he belong in a position as a leader of the FBI if that's what he's done?
I don't know Christopher Wray. I'm not happy with the efforts that he's made to reform the FBI because I haven't seen any. And I'm not happy with the stonewalling that he's done on documents that would appear to me to reveal the wrongdoing of certain people at the top of the FBI in the prior administration, not him. So I don't know what's going on with Christopher Wray. I mean, not knowing him and not talking to him, I don't want to condemn him in some way, but I find his behavior hard to understand. I mean, he walked into an FBI that had been devastated by the Obama administration, politicized to the nth degree. I mean, go back to the Hillary Clinton investigation, a complete fix. A complete fix. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot not to realize that that's a fix or a really bad prosecutor. So you come in as the head of the FBI, you clean it out. Clean out the damn headquarters. You don't have to clean out the field offices. There are great agents in the Washington field office, the New York field office, California. The people that are bad are the ones who become politicians at the top, like McCabe, whose wife ran for office and got money from that governor, who had all kinds of fundraising problems. These people become like politicians. They're like political. Comey became a politician.
Hey, the political FBI is what we really should push back against in this country. Let me switch gears for you if I can.
They're not real. They're not real FBI guys to work for that go undercover with the mob or go undercover with terrorists or go arrest people where they could be shot. These are guys working in headquarters, nice cushy jobs. They like their nice cushy jobs, and they're probably ideological lefties. And they think anything they do can be. I mean, ideological lefties have this terrible tendency to think anything they do is okay. like the Clintons.
Well,
whatever we do, it's okay. We're good people.
You took me right where I wanted to go, Mr. Mayor. Ideological lefties are what I want to speak about next. I'm going to play something for you because you're the former mayor of New York, and I can only imagine how you're feeling after the great job you did to basically what you just advocated that Christopher Wray did to the FBI. You did for New York, but you're watching all your good work just go away under de Blasio. Listen to what he said after some individuals in the Jewish community gathered to say goodbye to a beloved rabbi. Watch this.
That's where I'm making very clear, unapologetically, that the next gathering will be met by summonses and arrests, period. No more warnings. And that's true in every community. Equal opportunity in New York City. If you gather, I'm not talking again about a few friends hang out in the corner. I'm saying if you have a large gathering, hundreds of people, thousands of people, that we're not even going to have a discussion. It's just we're going immediately to summons, and if we have to use arrest, we'll use arrest.
And de Blasio's New York sees the criminal element running rampant and people of faith under attack. Your reaction, Mr. Mayor?
My reaction is I'm going to send you a picture of de Blasio within a day of that hypocritical statement, standing there with about 200 people who were not socially distancing. They were basically arm in arm. He's in the front with his wife with no mask on, which is a violation of his rule. So if he wants to do that, he's got to turn himself in. I mean, he should get a criminal summons for not wearing a mask, and the people behind him should get criminal summonses for not socially distancing. But obviously, they're like political supporters of de Blasio, so it's okay for them to violate his dictate, but it's not okay for the Jewish community to do it. I mean, if you want to enforce rules like this, you can't do what de Blasio did or what the mayor of Chicago did. She went and got her hair done. She lied about it at first. And then they asked her, well, how come you can get your hair done but nobody else? And she said, well, I have to look good, and I have to take care of my hygiene. What, everybody else in Chicago has to stink? I mean, it's ridiculous. These people are ridiculous. They're completely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if the American people realize how irrational they become. I don't know if it's a lack of intellect or the emotion that they get into, this crazy emotion they get into about Trump and about their liberal ideology. They stopped reasoning. They no longer can reason. So in one breath, he's condemning the Jewish community, who are at a religious service, by the way, where there's probably a pretty good explanation for it, and you got to deal with it kind of softly. And the other place, people are just boldly standing there to take a nice picture, a nice political picture, and they're all violating social distancing, mask, the whole thing. But it's okay because de Blasio did it.
Understood. Rudy Giuliani, sir, I can't thank you enough for the time here on the Chris Salcedo Show.
I can't thank you enough for covering this so well.
Let's visit again very soon because I have an
Sure, I'd be
idea
happy to do it,
that the malfeasance of the FBI still is going to more is going to be revealed in the coming days. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Chris.